Hello students, welcome to Dentosaurus, and today in this video I am going to explain you about the posterior teeth, which is the first premolar. So as you can see, there are four premolars in the mandibular arc. In the third quadrant this is the first and second premolar, while in the fourth quadrant this is the first and second premolar. So total there are four premolars in the mandibular arc, which is present distal to the canine. This first premolar is present near to the distal surface of the canine and mesial surface to the second premolar. So this is the location of the first premolar, and also you can see the cingulum has changed here into a lingual cusp, and you can note the difference between the anterior teeth and the posterior teeth. As this is the first posterior teeth, you can note its labiolingual dimension and the mesiodistal dimension. As its main function is to tear and grind the food, it has more surface area on its occlusal aspect, and the main function of anterior teeth is to cut the food, so they have more mesiodistal dimension and it has more labiolingual dimension. Let's talk about the buccal aspect. So first of all, buccal aspect is trapezoidal in shape. Its short part is near the cervical line and the broadest part is near the occlusal surface. So you can see these are two slopes. This is the mesial slope and this is the distal slope. Mesial slope is more convex, while the distal slope has some concavities here. You can see the concavity. Always remember that distal surface has concavity for side determining point, and buccal aspect has three lobes. These are three buccal lobes, among which the middle one is the broadest. Also, it has two elevations, and those elevations are in form of ridges. This is the buccal ridge because this is the more curved part, and when you compare to the three divisions, this is the mesial, this is middle, and this is distal division. The middle division, also called as buccal ridge, is more prominent here. And when you divide it horizontally, this is the occlusal third, this is middle third, and this is the cervical third. Cervical third holds more convexity, and this is also called as cervical ridge. And when you check the outlines, this is more curved from the cervical region. So let's talk about the lingual aspect. First of all, lingual aspect has two lingual cusps, and which lingual cusp are two-thirds of the buccal cusp, because more portion is occupied here by the buccal cusp, and only two-thirds of the buccal cusp portion is occupied by the lingual cusp. Here, mesiolingual developmental groove is more prominent, which is seen on mesial aspect and also on the lingual aspect. And as we have a cingulum in anterior teeth, here you can also say that cingulum has developed into this lingual lobe. Also, the cervical line is straight and it's not more curved on the lingual aspect. This is mesial aspect, and mesial aspect has a mesiolingual developmental groove. So from this developmental groove we can determine the mesial aspect, and you can see the mesial marginal ridge. So mesial marginal ridge has a lingual inclination. Also, this mesial aspect is divided into three divisions for determining the contact point, and the contact area is in the middle of the middle third. And when you talk about the geometrical shape, it has a bit inclination towards the lingual side. So it is rhomboid in shape, and this is the buccal outline. This buccal outline is more convex near the cervical region, and this is the lingual outline. and this lingual outline is more convex near the middle third. And this is the cervical line. This is only a line, not a deep depression, and this is more curved. This is the distal aspect, and the distal aspect, here is the distal marginal ridge, which is straight and it is perpendicular to the long axis of teeth. Here is the cervical line, and cervical line is not so curved. And when we talk about the contact point is broader and more cervically, and overall the distal aspect is similar as the mesial aspect, except for the distal marginal ridge, the contact point being broader, and the curvature of the cervical line. This is occlusal aspect of premolar, and occlusal aspect is thrown into so many elevations and depressions. So first I'll talk about the elevations present here. Elevation consists of the cusps and depression consists of these grooves. So what are these elevations? You can see this is the buccal cusp, and this ridge is called as triangular ridge, and this is the lingual cusp, and this middle ridge is called as triangular ridge of the lingual cusp. Both these ridges join, and this is called a transverse ridge which run across the occlusal surface. So also this small cusp has a small ridge, but that doesn't hold much importance. And now I'll talk about the depressions. So first of all, here is a central developmental groove which run across this ridge. For your kind information, I have highlighted this groove. You can well appreciate it on this plaster dummy. And then there are some supplementary grooves. These are small grooves which arise from the main central developmental groove, and that doesn't hold much importance. But this is a mesiolingual developmental groove which is characteristic feature of mandibular permanent premolar. Also it has some fossas, the distal triangular fossa. This is a small depression on the distal side of the occlusal surface. This is called distal triangular fossa, and also on the mesial side this is present, and this is called as mesial triangular fossa. And if you talk about the geometrical shape of the occlusal surface, it is round or rough diamond shape.